Guys, what's up? It's Dragoon here. I'm here with a good friend of mine. You might know him as T Cooley 18 on DN. We just went back to a regional not that long ago. He was able to do pretty well for his first time, going, what was it, 5-4?
Yep.
And I gotta say, what he did against the current meta, in my opinion, was pretty impressive with his crazy deck. What were you playing this?
I was playing Jurrac.
Jurrac.
Now, I like Jurrac because I like the artwork, the playstyle's fun, and it has a nice surprise factor to it.
For sure. Would you say that surprise factor is what definitely gave you an advantage against some of the meta?
I would say it was, because unlike other players, I guess, who play meta, everyone knows what their deck does and what to side up against them.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people who don't know Jurrac, or at least don't know them well, and most of them don't have anything to side against them, so that really helped me out.
Alright, cool. Let's go ahead and get in the deck then.
Alright, now there are a lot of people who think that Guaiba's the only one who matters, but I don't think that. I think Guaiba's the teeth of the deck, and Velo is the body.
Okay.
Now, everyone knows what Guaiba does, and he's very helpful, but Velo is a good defender. What happens with Velo is, if he's destroyed while in attack position, I can special summon another Jurrac from my deck with 17 or less. So if I have him out, and he gets destroyed, I can bring out another Velo, bring out another Velo, and that's 3 attacks right there, and that takes up, that saves me a lot of life points. Plus, I can also suicide with him with another 17, and then special summon another monster. And unlike Guaiba's, that monster can still attack. So that's good to get over stuff.
For sure. It basically, Velo gives you a toolbox into the rest of your dinosaurs, right?
Yep.
So, which is pretty awesome. And then I want to comment, it was these cards, playing against this deck, testing it against, helping him figure out the right build, that pretty much inspired me to add the Guaibas and the Velo to my Ninja deck, because I was able to see firsthand how deadly effective a combo of these two cards can be, because you can instill fear into the opponent with a successful Guaiba attack. I mean, if your opponent has a weak monster on board and Guaiba's going to go in to do something, they usually want to stop it. Am I right?
Yep.
And then Velo is he just gives you that search power, which is really useful. Powerful normal summon.
It's a great staller, too, because there are people who won't want me to get that monster off, so they'll use card effects that they won't have to. They'll use cards they won't have to destroy him, so I won't get to special summon a monster.
Yeah, you can absorb stuff, which is pretty good.
Alright. Next we have Jurrac Dino. Now, Dino is a fun card, in my opinion. What happens is, if I destroy a monster by battle with him, during the end phase, I contribute a Jurrac monster and draw 2 cards, and it can be any one on my field, even himself. He's a level 3, 17 attack, which is good, and he's also a tuner, which I think is amazing.
Oh yeah, no doubt. The fact that he's a tuner just gives him such an edge over other cards, and allowing you to have that draw power, just kind of insane.
It's very helpful.
He's kind of like the card D of the deck, but probably better, right?
I think he's a lot better.
Alright, what's next?
Alright, next we have Jurrac Elio.
Oh yeah.
Now, Elio is a great support card, because I contribute him to special summon a Jurrac from my graveyard. Now that's great, because usually when I get him, I'll at least have 2 different kinds of Jurrac, so it gives me options. Plus, he is not affected by Soul Drain or Skill Drain, even when they're both on the field.
Which is just really powerful.
That is very powerful, and he's also a level 1 tuner.
Just gives you that ability to go into different monsters in your extra deck, which is always convenient.
Yep.
And get anything you want at the graveyard. Seems good to me.
Yep. Alright, that's all the Jurracs I have in here. Not many. Next I have the cheap Guaiba, Hydrogeddon.
Hydrogeddon.
Hydrogeddon is basically what I said. He's the cheap Guaiba, but I need him because he speeds up the deck a lot. And unlike Guaiba, if he leaves the field, I don't get the effect. But it's still nice, because if I destroy that monster, I can get out another Hydrogeddon from my deck, which can still attack. And then if that one destroys the monster, then I just went from 1 monsters to 3.
Which is pretty awesome.
And since he's a dinosaur, I can still make Logia and Dolka with him.
Which is always really good. This card, I think it meshes really well with the rest of the deck. Just giving you that additional level of speed.
Yep.
Like you mentioned, and I so wish you could play Frost and Flame Dragon.
Oh, man.
Remember that card? Yeah. If you guys don't know what Frost and Flame Dragon is, you have to banish like 2 waters and 1 fire from your graveyard to special summon it. We wish so badly it was the other way around, because it'd
Then
just
I
be
could
such an, it'd be like having your own version of Blackluster Soldier. It's not the same effect, but you know, that ability to have that boss monster.
Yep. All right. And next we have Blaster. Now Blaster's obvious. It's a fire
course.
deck. You need a Blaster.
Oh yeah, big boss.
Yep. That's all for the monsters. Next we're on to spells. We have, pretty generic. 2-pot, space. And then, of course, with the new list, we have a Raigeki.
Oh, you have to play Raigeki. It's just too good.
Yep. All right, next we have more deck-oriented cards. We have 3 Fossil Deck, which are my reinforcements of the army.
Search all day, right?
Yep. And then we have attack boosters. We have Molten Destruction, Forbidden Lance, and Forbidden Dress.
Now, how did these work for you for this past tournament?
Dress was very helpful, and Lance wasn't so much, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But, it was still nice, to stop my opponent's, Dimensional Prison against a Velo, or,
Yeah, definitely. Stuff like that.
help Guaiba.
This is really good against the hands, too.
It is.
So, one of the reasons why I played it in my deck was just because you can attack into annoying fire hands and stuff like that and be like, oh, my stuff's okay, so...
That's why it was very helpful, because there was a lot of decks you just threw hands in, just, cuz.
Yeah. Now this card, though. Talk about this card a little bit.
Alright, Molten Destruction is a very old card. It's a field spell that gives all fire monsters 500 attack, but it also lowers them by 400 defense. I don't really care about that second part.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's very helpful, because I don't need the 3 Lance and the 3 Dress, because Molten affects all my monsters, making them 22. And that's a boss monster for a level 4.
Oh, yeah.
So, it helps me out.
For sure.
Alright, next we have a Rekindling. Now, Rekindling only works with one monster of the deck. It only works with Elio. But it's very helpful, because if I use it, I can get all 3 back from my grave, and then I can use all 3 of their effects to bring out 3 different monsters, and then Ixie, or Synchro, or just do a bunch of damage. So it speeds up the deck a lot.
Which is cool, because you're gonna... It only gets this, but this gets anything, so
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
cool.
it's a little annoying that I have to have the Elios, but it's worth it, in my opinion.
I agree.
Alright, and that's all for the spells. And next for the trap, we have, 2 Wiretap,
Standard.
standard in this build. 2 Prison, it's a standard now, basically.
Yep.
We have, the common ones, a Warning, a Torrential, a Bottomless, and a Compulse.
You gotta play those cards.
You have... Oh. We have a Breakthrough skill, which I just put in before the tournament.
How did that work for you? Was it pretty good?
It was very helpful. I used to play Fiendish Chain, but I realized I would rather have it stop 2 effects than 1 and an attack, because most of the time I want my opponents to attack me. I want them because I usually have something to lower their monster's attack.
Yeah, not to mention you have those dimensional prisons now too, so kind of just works in different realms, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. And then for the last one, we have Survival of the Fittest.
This card, easily one of the best cards in the deck, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. What it does is I can equip it to a dinosaur-type monster on my side of the field. It then gains 1,000 attack, and if it destroys the monster by battle, I can attack another monster again in a row. Now that is very helpful, because if I equip it to a Guaiba, it stays at 27, and then I can also attack another monster that same turn. Now
Basically, makes Guaiba it's like this big beast who can just keep spawning other monsters as long as he has a successful attack.
I can also use it on Hydrogadon if I need to, or even Elio.
Seems pretty good to me.
It's a very helpful card, but I also got this Japanese version from Dragoon here.
Yeah.
He picked it up for me when he went to Japan, so I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, looks awesome. Sad we can't play in the TCG and official tournaments, but that's okay. Yeah, super good, but probably not too much you want to play it at more than one right now, just because
I used to
it's
play
really
2,
specific.
but when I would use it, I'd usually just have to end up overlaying,
You don't
right
wanna lose
away.
it.
And
Makes sense to me.
Yep.
All right, is that end of the main deck?
Yep.
How many cards was that? 40?
Yep, 40 cards.
All right, what do we got for the extra?
All right, next for the extra, we have, what everyone's expecting, Alagia and Adolka.
Gotta play those guys.
Now, I decided to only play 2 of the Logia because 3 would clogs up my extra deck too much.
Yeah.
And most of the time, 2 is what I bring out. You know, if I bring out 3, it's usually a very tough match, and
Yeah.
you know, I prefer the different monster in here. In Dolka, because a lot of the decks now are effect-based, and Dolka can stop 2 effects, which can basically stop an opponent's at least one of their turns. And, you know, if I bring out the second one, then it's hard for most effect decks to get rolling after 2 blank turns. Basically.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think sometimes people forget how powerful these cards can be. Because it's kind of weird, because Evils don't really see a ton of play. Not at least that I've seen. So it's almost like these cards can kind of fall off the radar, which is good for you. So.
It is. But, yeah, Lagia is fun because if it has its material, there are some opponents who will play like 3 of their support cards that they don't need at the time, just so because they're trying to bait Lagia. And then if I don't do that, then they just used all their support cards, and now they don't have anything left to back up their monsters. So, you know, that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, seems good to me.
Alright. Next we have 101. You know, it's $30. If you don't have one, get it.
Yeah, gotta have that.
We have Ragna Zero. Now, Ragna Zero is a card not many people know about, but I think people should. It's 24, so it's the same as Lagia, so it still has a lot of attack. And its effect is that if a monster has more attack than its original, I can attach material to destroy it, and then I can draw a card if that monster is destroyed. Now, that's very helpful. You know, against Madolches, for instance.
Oh, yeah, it's so good against Madolche.
Yeah.
You pretty much are... Unless they are able to stop you quickly, you can pretty much get that effect off twice and draw extra cards, which is great.
It's fun. Also, if they have a fire monster and I have Molten on the field, I can use Ragna Zero then too to destroy their monster and then draw a card.
So good against, like Fire Fist, right?
Yep, Fire Fist, Yang Zing it can be.
Oh yeah, I remember when you were playing against Yang Zing, and they summoned that fire dragon, I forget his name.
Yeah, but he went up to 24.
He went up to 24, and you were like, nah, Ragna Zero. It was so good. Alright, what else?
Alright, we have Castel. You know, it's a good card. It's like, how much? $20 last time I checked?
It's super good. I think it's a staple in rank 4s.
Yeah. I think if you play a lot of level 4s, you pretty much need one of these now.
Yep, same with 101. I think they belong in a very similar class.
Alright, we have Corn. You know, old but gold. It'll most likely always be in my extra deck.
Yeah, it's like a bane for you when people bring out Corn against your Velo. Yeah,
I hate that. Yeah. All right, and next for endgame we have Gagaga Cowboy and Heartland Draco.
Nice.
You know, Heartland Draco is great because if your opponent has more than 800, but they have all these big monsters, Heartland Draco will just go right past them, do 2,000 direct. So it can be a very useful card.
No doubt.
That's all for the Ixies. And next for the Synchros, we have 2 level 5s. We have Cataster and Armades. I don't have it right now. I'm letting my friend borrow it, so, this is the proxy for it. But Armades is great, because there are a lot of people who will play, like, Dimensional Prison or Mirror Force or stuff like that. So it's just a great effect. And it's also good against Hands and Yang Zing and Madolches, because they can't activate any of their effects.
It's good against so many things.
It is. And then Cataster is, my Stellar Night Killer.
Yeah. Good card.
It's a staple in level 5s, in my opinion.
I agree.
And next we have 3 level 7s. We have Black Rose, staple. We have Ancient Pixie Dragon, and then we have Jurrac Giganoto.
Okay. Sweet. What are these? Everyone knows what this does. Let's talk about these specifically.
Right. What Ancient Pixie does is, if I have a field spell on the field, then once per turn I can destroy an attack position monster my opponent controls. Now that can get rid of a lot of monsters. Also, if it's on the field and I activate a spell card, I can then draw again.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
So that's good. And the Giganto is just a beater. What he does is he gives every Jurrac monster on my side of the field 200 extra attack for every Jurrac in the grave. Now, I would have to use at least 2 for that, so that means all my monsters go up at least 400. And then late game, I can get, 5, 6, 7 Jurracs in the grave, and then everything is just so powerful.
Yeah, it gets really big. You probably don't get to make this as often as you'd like, I'm assuming, just because of the current format, but I can definitely see how this card can be a game changer later in the road, and especially like against certain decks.
Yep.
All right, so that seems to be the end of the extract. As far as comments go, what's your favorite thing about the deck?
My favorite, like I said, probably a surprise factor.
Okay. What's your least favorite thing about the deck?
I guess I would say how it's battle phase based.
Yeah.
Well, I do
battle
like
phase.
that. It can be very annoying if my opponent uses a bunch of effects and main phase to get rid of my monsters.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, for your first regional playing this deck, I definitely think you did pretty well. I can definitely see how later in the future might be able to bring it back, do even better. With that, you guys, be sure you leave a comment below and let us know what you think about the deck, and we'll catch you guys next time.